Kia ora, New Zealand. Welcome to Sweet Chain Live. My name's Matt Drake. This is episode 143. I'm joined this evening by my co-host, Morgan Hartfeld. Good evening, Morgan.
Kia ora, Matt. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm doing very well, thank you. Actually doing really well, and I'll tell you the reason why. You'll recall in recent weeks, I've had a bit of trouble with a bit of a gammy ankle. Do you remember me talking about it?
I sure do, and I hope you've got some good news for us.
Well, I do, and that is that it's feeling a lot better. I'm going to go for a run tomorrow on it. I feel confident enough to be able to at least get up to a trot and try and go for a quick run around the Nui. But also played disc golf yesterday at the Wellington Spring League, round 3, and didn't feel any pain when I was twisting on it or turning on it. So it was good.
Awesome news.
Shot much better last night than I did the previous week, although still left about easily less 5 or 6 shots out there, I'll tell you. And I finished 1 under, so, you know.
It's easy to do that even with all the circumstances on your right side, Matt.
There is. But my putting was really good, actually. I'm really pleased with my putting at the moment. So, yeah, watch out. Fault Line Fury, I'm coming for you in just over a week's time. But we've got plenty of things to get done before then. Before we go into what is quite a packed show, Morgan, what's your week been like?
No disc golf at all for me. No rounds. No. I threw a couple of discs in Roxburgh when I was up there at the weekend doing the preview filming for Roxburgh Open coming in January.
Okay,
but outside of that, no, man. Work's picked up though, which is, to be honest, something weird to say sometimes, but it's nice. It's nice to be busy at work again. I'm enjoying it.
Indeed. Actually, it's funny you should say that you've been doing some filming at Roxburgh, because I've actually got one of your videos.
Hey, there we go.
So we can have a look at it. I hope that the sound works, because the sound's pretty good. I'm just going to turn it down because it's quite loud when you play it first up. But let's just see if hopefully this works. So the video's showing. That's good. Here we go. This is.
I've been toying around with my video design app, and I think I'm getting the hang of it now. It's getting a little bit better. The drone flying was a lot easier in Roxburgh than it is at Ohau. Less trees.
Breaker.
Where are we at here? Hole 6. Yeah, down the hill. Now, Levi, who's on the show tonight, his brother, Ethan, told me today that I sort of went out on a limb and said this is a pretty easy hole for the pro divisions, the top guys. They all should be, birdieing this or getting close. And he pointed out that he missed it every single round last year and that it's not a given. So I've challenged him to birdie it every round this year. And then, nice downhill throw off the tee there. Yeah, and pretty cool.
Pretty good video skills as well. Video editing skills, I will say. That's
Thanks,
not bad at all.
I'm getting there. I'm learning the ins and outs, and they'll only get better. That's the good news.
Indeed, they will. Head over to Generation Disc Golf Facebook page if you want to see more of those whole preview videos, especially if you're playing in the Roxburgh Open, which is in just after Christmas.
13th, 14th of January. There's I haven't had a look today. I think someone else signed up today, but there's around 15 or less spots right now. I also need to check in with Bray because he's obviously got the dual registration going. So I need to transfer a few names over from there. So it's getting tight, guys. If you're keen, it's time to get in there. Maybe buy your brother, your sister a birthday present. Get them a event ticket. Just one thing on those videos. I only got up to hole 11. It's really hard doing any sort of admin on the course, on any course that's outside of town. It's over 2 hours drive to get out there, and we thought we had a clear run, and then boom, all of the guys showed up to play golf for their Saturday social. So we're going to have 11 holes filmed, and I'll see if I can get some more in before January, but might be a bit touch and go.
Well, look, They look great. I think that's a fantastic start. Look, the show tonight, it's absolutely packed. We've got hot scores. They're back. Our random number generator is fixed, and so we can bring you hot scores for this week. We're then going to go through the Twizel results. Now, there's one or two stories in the Twizel results that we're going to take you through that you may not have seen, or at least not been visible on first glance of the results, but we're going to be going through those. Then we've got our guest tonight is Levi Stout. Spoiler alert, he won MPO at South Island Champs. So we're going to be talking to him about really what it's like to be on a pretty hot streak since coming back from the States, which was the last time that we spoke to him. Then we're going to have a quick chat about disc golf was featured on the platform NZ earlier on this week. Henry Pearson was on that show giving a talk about Tour Down Under. So we're going to have I wasn't going to call it a reaction show or like a reaction to the video as such, because I everybody's probably seen it already, so I don't want to have to.
I'd love to see you sort of put on top of that, pasted on top of that video, giving those reactions like they do on YouTube, just those fully.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll see how we're getting on when we get to that part of the show. If it's something, chat, let us know. If you want us to do a reaction to the platform interview and you want to hear it again along with Morgan and I's views as it goes along, then let us know. That might be a thing. Then we've got a very special guest on tonight, a second guest. I know you're very lucky. His name, he's been on the show heaps of times before. Bray Marsden joins us for a special announcement.
The Invercargill takeover today.
It is. This is to do with the Elite Series. And it's an incredible announcement. You're going to want to listen into this announcement, especially. Can I give anything? Shall I say anything anymore? Or
especially because it's for the
ladies. Okay, so especially if you're a lady, you're going to want to listen to this announcement. And then we're going to be going through the Bros for Chains Charity Classic. Jay very kindly sent me a whole map, which we'll be taking a look at for the Charity Classic if you're playing in that this weekend, and having a look at who our picks are, as well as going through updates to the power rankings following Twizel at the weekend. How does that sound as a show?
Sounds full and it sounds great. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Kick us off, Morgan. What's going on down south?
Oh, sheesh. Hold on, Matt. Gee. Put me right in the firing line. All right, I'm ready. I'm joking. I'm ready. Okay. Queen's Park, Invercargill. We've got goddamn Johnny Ferrari shooting a hot -13 to start us off this week. Chingford down in Dunedin. We've got Troy Broad with a -5. Headed over to Brockville, still in Dunedin. We've got Jens Moeller with a -5. Good to see some different names on the list just to kick us off this week, Matt. And again, got the Queenstown Guns. We've got Alex Page with a 10 under par. Alex is a ball golfer who works at Jack's Point out here. Phenomenal guy, phenomenal disc golfer also. Just shout out to Turbo and Luke Hempel, who's also shot 10 down at the Gardens. Tucker Beach in Queenstown, we've got Daniel with a 6. That's a 6 over par. Not too many. Well, there was a lot of people out there playing this week. No scores, apparently. Luke Hempel takes down Ely Point with a -3. Lismore over in Wanaka, same as Ely Point. Abraham Hasinski. Didn't want to muck that one up. Abraham Hasinski with a 51 -4. Headed on up to Christchurch. We've got Ashton Clark at Jelly Park with a 14 under par. That is a ripping score. Staying in Christchurch at Ascot and then Queen's Park, we've got Jeremy Brockenshire on a -8 at Ascot. Craig Gold with a 6 down at Queen's Park. Then we're going to go to the top of the south, and we've got Mitch at Taylor River to finish us off with someone who's always on the show there with a 4 over par. Shot, Mitch. Let's go north, Matt.
So starting off the capital with Flavio Mayorga hits 6 under par at the Berrapore Hills. Very good score from Flavio. Across the water to Hikoikoi, Andy Davey hits 7 under at Petone. Up the road at Harcourt Park, Andy Davey also hits the hot score at in Upper Hutt with a 5 under par. Did that one at League last night. Callum Betteridge hits 7 under par at Linklater for the hot round. Kona, Andrew F., Devin Taylor, and Connor McKinstry were all fighting out for the hot round at Maryland's. Neither of them could decide who wanted it, tying as they all did 3 under par. Spa Park Black even, and Steve Lawson hits 3 down. Dane Sales is the man of the moment at McLaren's with 6 under par, and Sam Hitchcock hits 12 under par at Henderson. So congratulations to everybody who made the list this week. Nice to see some new names. I think the that are we starting to see holidaymakers perhaps creeping into our
are you about to say the big C word? Christmas? People traveling for Christmas already?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, well, maybe, but maybe just people who have decided to take on holiday. No one goes on holiday in November, or at least no one in the UK goes on holiday in November. And,
well, I suppose it's pretty warm. It's pretty warm around the country in some parts, and I mean, if you've got to work over Christmas, taking time off either side is a pretty good option. Good weather.
Absolutely. Right. Now, so we're going to kick off. We had a tournament this last weekend, Twizel. It's the first major of the season, South Island champs, and we're going to have a look at the results now. And we're going to start at the bottom of the page. One moment while I bring it up here. So first up, on her own in FJ15 is Alison Tweedy. However, when we have a look at the other ladies' results, I'm going to leave that one open so that we can see some comparisons. Actually, when you compare her to the other ladies who played this layout or this combination of layouts, so the mixed tees, which was every ladies division except FPO played the mixed tees on each of the courses. She came fourth out of all of the other ladies, right? So
how good.
That's some pretty hot shooting there. You'll see that as we go further up. Down in MJ15, it was a playoff that decided this one, right? So Connor Rance making a bit of a comeback in the final round, loses out on a playoff to Bailey Gardner. Incredible scenes down in Twizel as that's a very, very tight race all the way through. Even Sebastian Stridham for much of the tournament would have been thereabouts as well. So well done to those three. Up to the mixed juniors, and it's on a playoff again. This is in the 18s. Sam Lycan this time coming out on top over Jamie Hunter, following a very
he did, and he did it in a playoff by parking the playoff hole, and it looked like a pretty tricky hole. And I just realised I wish I'd sent you the video to bring up. I definitely could have done that. Riley Bruce, if you could send it to Matt, maybe you can sneak it in there somewhere. There's a video of it, and he put it.
Send it to me.
The other kid put it about 11, 12 meters from the basket, missed his putt, and Sam put it right there, 2-3 meters, tap in, job done.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. If anybody does have that video, send it to me in the next few minutes, and we can and we'll do our best to get it up on the screen. MA3, David Frost takes this out relatively comfortably by 7 shots, kind of cruising by the end of it. It was his second round, which was a 9.13 rated, followed on a pretty hot 9.31 for MA3. That's not very good. Sorry, that's not very good. That's amazing, actually, for MA3. What am I talking about? The 9.31. I struggle to hit 9.31. So MA3 is fantastic. Well done to David Frost. Up to FA2, Chelsea Pryor takes out the honours here. Just consolidates her lead as the tournament continues, stays in the lead for pretty much the whole of it, and takes it out by 4 shots over Casey Brown. Over in MA2, and it's Sean Brown who wins MA2 by 5 shots over Joel Mordner and Lance Easton. Lance, you remember, was our pick for the win, managing to get.
Yes, he was. The more and more of these events, and we keep harping on about it, the more and more of these events with 19 to 20, 25 even players, MA2 is becoming pretty stacked in its own right and really competitive. It's awesome to see.
If I was not playing in the best division, and because it didn't exist, for example, I'd be looking at stepping down from MA1 to MA2, and I'd be thinking, shit, this is going to be really competitive, right? This is going to heat up like in most of the tournaments that I would enter. So I don't know. It's a very, very tightly packed division. It's always a massive, well represented division. So yeah, great to see. And 942. 942 in MA2. I've got some weapons grade sandbags just for Sean Brown. I'm joking, of course. Looking at FA60, Jennifer Joint takes out this division despite a comeback from Karen Dotto in the final round. In MA60, Andy Brewster comfortably takes this out by 26 shots. And I must shout out Andy Brewster here. He now has a calendar Grand Slam, right? So he's the current North Island, South Island, and national MA60 champion. So round of applause for Andy. Incredibly good achievement there. I know that I was staying in the same house as him actually in Topor earlier on for the thermal throwdown, and we were kind of winding him up over how much pressure there was on him going into this event. It was good to see that he had no problem at all in dispatching the opposition by a cool 26 strokes. Moving up to FA50, and Donna Cormack takes this out again. Had to make a comeback in the final round. Was trailing going into the final round from Deborah Hunter, and put 5 shots on her in the final round to take out the win.
Yeah, the highest rated round from that division all weekend.
It's absolutely great to see. Up into MA50, and you'll remember that our picks for this division were Ed Waddington and Chris Kingsnorth in that order, and they duly obliged by shooting some pretty hot golf throughout the weekend. 945 and 935 for MA50 is nothing to be sniffed at. I know there's a lot of MA40s eyeing that division up in the next few years, and they'll be surprised when they get there and come up against Ed and Chris and others. So well done to them. Up to FA40, and Nicholas Stout pretty comfortably takes out this division by 15 strokes. Kind of just kept extending a lead as the tournament went on. Kath Headley, again, in second place without any real competition. Moving up to the best division, MA40, and it gives me I'm so pleased with this result. Brett Carlisle takes out the win. It's funny, it's funny about this, right? I'll tell you a little story. We were in Wide Appa for the Henley Lake Rapper Rumble Cup a week ago, 2 weeks ago, you'll recall. And we were talking after the round, and we were both saying, look, we've been on the league card here, because both me and Brett had been on the league card for the last 3 tournaments that we'd played, but we hadn't ever kind of challenged for the lead or the win. And Brett went, wow, I'm going down south next week, and no one else who's beaten me so far is playing in that tournament, so I fancy my chances. And he's done it. He's gone and nailed it. So fantastic work by Brett. Wasn't easy. Took a final round to come back, but he had a lead after the first round, and then it got chewed up a little bit in the second round, and then he put the competition to bed.
Pushing sort of near 100 points above his rating. That's a big achievement in itself too.
Yeah, I think
final round.
I think anybody who plays with Brett will probably agree that his rating doesn't quite reflect. I think he's played too many league rounds at Harcourt Park. But for that to be a true reflection. James Sutton and Stuart Gilchrist round out the podium. Over to FA1 and Victoria Speller. We predicted this as well by 11 shots over Michaela Kerr. Very good shooting from Victoria with a 906 rated final round, which she'll be very pleased with.
You can hear me.
Over to MA1 and Daniel Hunter. Don't know much about Daniel, but he shot 1,001 rated round in his first round, so he's the latest member of the 1,000 rated club. 933, but you'll notice because his number's not in bold, he is not a propagator, which means he has fewer than 8 sanctioned rounds to his name. So no doubt his rating will change after this. The Twice results didn't make the last update. They might have still been just confirming a few things. So just be aware of that.
Did you get a ratings bump this month, Matt?
I bumped down by a point. Yes.
I went up 5. I'm pretty happy with that.
Very good. Where are you now?
920 something.
920 something. I'm 9, not quite 920 something. 914.
About where I deserve to be, I reckon.
Over to MP40, and Hemiter Fitu takes this out. It was probably closer than the scores suggest. Certainly going into the final round, it was close, and then he tore away in the final round.
7-shot stroke between him and Jason in that last round really solidified it, eh?
Yeah, that's it. And a 979 way round to finish it off is going to be good enough in most people's book to take it out. And then Jung Ha rounds out the podium positions.
You'll be happy to see Jung get on the podium.
Once again, absolutely delighted to see Jung get on the podium. He's really making a challenge in MP40, and he was the MA40 North Island champ last year at Topol. So when North Island champs rolls around this week, I don't know if he's playing it. He may not be playing in that one, but certainly be one to watch in the pro divisions. And now certainly thinks he's certainly solidified himself as a pro, taking the cash as he did. Over into FPO, and as we predicted, Hayley Flintoff came away with this result, but a good performance by Echo Lee to climb to second place here.
Oh, there's a second equal there. Her and Alexandra Williams both 15 over par there, and I'm assuming they had a playoff for the cash.
Yeah, I presume so. I don't know. I don't know if I can tell on here. I don't think I can, but
we'll just make assumptions. There's cash money next to Echo's name and not next to Alexandra's.
There we go. Let's make that assumption. Alexandra could be declining it for amateur reasons, but we shall see. Anyway, up to MPO, and Levi Stout takes out the tournament with 2 1040 rated rounds, which is just mental. And Jasper van der Meer is in second place. It wasn't all fun and games for Levi. We'll talk to him in a moment about the pressure that Jasper was able to put on. But Jasper was really the only one who kind of came close over the course of the weekend. Jackson Sullivan, Ryan Cambridge, and Ashton Clark and Sebastian Falcon, rounded out the top 5.
Just a shout out to Jasper too. I think, without squinting too hard, Jasper, the only player to shoot over 1,000 rated on every single round.
Yeah, that doesn't happen often. Honestly, if you look at as the data analytics team tell me, the 1,000 rated rounds are pretty hard to come by, and to shoot 3 in the same tournament is incredibly rare. Incredibly rare. I mean, even if you look back, Simon Feasey in his prime, Jacko a few years ago when he was regularly shooting 1,000 rated rounds, very rarely hit 1,000 rated in every round of a tournament. So great to see that consistency, and it's that kind of consistency that, if you can keep working at it, is a fantastic base to then build your game on and shoot some pretty good stuff. I mean, you're never really having to play catch up. If you never really had a poor round, you've got to make up for in other areas. Anyway, let's welcome our guest tonight. Our guest this evening is, as we said, the South Island champ, Levi Stout. Good evening, Levi.
Good, guys. How are you?
Hey,
very
brother.
good. Very good. Thank you. How are you feeling?
Yeah, bit after that's over. No pressure now.
Yeah. Did you feel pressure? You felt some pressure going into the event?
It was the first time since junior worlds that I've stepped up to the tee and just had my heart racing, and it just stayed there for the entire round.
Wow. Okay. So pretty exhausted coming off the one of the rounds, 36 holes, right? I mean, you had lunch in the middle, but coming off each one of those is going to be, it's a pretty long day. Even 36 holes in a day at a major is a pretty long day.
Yeah, and then you just add in pressure on top of that, and it's just exhausting.
Must be hard.
But you would have preferred to have a few shots up your sleeve going into that final round.
Oh, yeah. Part of that was my second round. My putting just wasn't there. The whole weekend, my drives were on point. I was hitting the circle. Yeah. I was real happy with that. And then the second round, I just couldn't get any edge of circle putts to fall. And it showed in a couple of those shorter holes. I think I bogeyed the second shortest hole on the course.
All right.
That was just, again, silly putting mistakes, but thankfully I fixed it before final.
Was it the tone pole out of interest?
No.
Birdied that one every round?
Yeah. It was that wee little one that plays down into the ditch that you always think you're going to skip ace it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think I got a bogey and a par on it.
Ooh. Okay. Well done. You are human after all.
Yeah.
So look, I make that. Is that 6 wins on the bounce? That's since you came back from America. 6 wins on the bounce.
Yeah.
I've got that. What's happened? I mean, do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you were a very good. Obviously, you were a very good player prior to going to the States, right? You were winning some tournaments, and you were sometimes you were finishing in the 4th, 3rd, etc. Right? Since and I will say there's a difference in the rating that you've been getting, right? Since you've come back from the States, you've won every tournament you've entered, and you've shot strokes ahead of people, like silly numbers. We just saw 2 10-40 rounds in the same tournament. I'm not sure that's been done before. Like what's happened? What is it? Where did you go in this? Yeah.
What is it? Tell us.
Tuckers, as soon as I got back, first tournament back, it was 2 10-40 rounds, 2-round tournament.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. Well, egg on my
back.
face for not realizing that. But
21
still, but yeah. But even so, right? You weren't doing that prior to America.
No, I'd shot like maybe 2 10-40 plus rated rounds. But when I went to America, there was a step up, A, in the competition, but B, also, like, I went a month straight playing every single day, putting every single day,
right?
Doing lots of throwing. And that just makes your form work so much more cohesively, and everything just gets smoother and better.
Timing, eh?
Yeah, but part of that is also, it's like, I've started to try, like, pretend I'm on tour, if you get what I mean. Like, I've been treating it more like my prep isn't, I'm going to play a New Zealand tournament, I'm going to go throw putters 60 metres, like, as much as New Zealand tournaments are that, there is more to the game than that. So I've been preparing, by doing lots of field work, just trying to push out the skill sets that are useful long term. So, like, since I left for the States, I put 10, 15 metres on my throw, and my forehand's better than it's ever been at the moment, and stuff like that.
Just talk us through this a minute, because there'll be people out there going, well, this sounds great, but how does that kind of translate in a practical way? Now, you told me earlier that you had your last exam for school today, so you're now a full-time disc golfer. When you're not doing a part-time job, presumably, or something maybe. So how do you structure your day or your week to include your disc golf practice, and how do you decide how to structure that practice?
Well, for me, my 2 top priorities are just field work and putting. Like, go out to the garage, because I just have basket in the garage, so no matter what the weather is, I can go out there, put up a couple 100 putts. Especially leading into tournaments, that number will, go as high as I can make it before I start to lose my focus. But in terms of field work, it's usually just like an hour and a half, like 4 times a week maybe. And then the other days I might go throw, just on the course, or go throw putters or something else like that. And it really, for me, just depends on the weather. Living in Invercargill, most of the winters 5-10 degrees and raining and a bit of wind. So another thing that I've been doing recently is we've got a sheet up in the garage. I can just throw onto that on those rainy days. And for me, it's just consistency. If I take too long,
it's just all that practice and repetition. And I mean, we've heard a lot of people sort of speak on that. We've heard lots of people speak on that plenty in the past, and practice makes perfect, and we all know that. But I guess it's about getting that motivation to actually do it day in, day out. And what I want to know is, like, what is your motivation to keep doing that every single day? And I mean, you're a young guy, you've probably got a bit of time on your hands, and you can just go out and do that. But what's the goal? Where are we headed?
Well, for me, this might sound a bit, I don't know, it might sound a bit weird, but I'm not chasing, like, wins anymore. Like, winning's nice and all, But at the end of the day, I'm going out there to shoot as best as I can and hopefully bump up my rating as best as I can, because it's hard to prove yourself in another country if they can't compare it.
Sure.
So ultimately, obviously, the goal is to make it to the Pro Tour, and to get some attention, you have to have something backing that up. And for me, the only thing that we can really do in New Zealand is ratings.
Because wins won't be enough, right? Because you can't tell the strength of the opposition.
Yeah, exactly.
Has someone said that? Sorry, Levi. Has someone said that to you? Is that someone like that you've met in the States that's been like, this is the direction you need to go? Have you had that conversation?
Not directly, but I've looked at plenty of, like application forms for sponsorships and stuff. If Trilogy or someone puts out sponsorship applications, I'll look at it just to see what they're looking for. And from what I can see, especially for international players, is they're looking for social media presence and rating, because, like I say, tour wins are nice, but that doesn't really matter if you're playing against 920 rated players. That's not someone that the sponsors are looking for.
We're both 920 rated players, but
yeah. Hey, kick him out of here. I'm done with him.
No, kidding, obviously. So have you got a target in mind for kind of the short term and the kind of longer term where you want to get to?
As high as possible. Like for me at the moment, I obviously want to break 10-10, just get over that barrier. I think having those rounds, the 2 1040s this weekend, going the next ratings update will help that.
Yep.
But also for me, it's trying to flush out the bad rounds from like start of this year into last year. So part of my rating, like getting a bump, will just be waiting for like the 932 and the 72
to drop out
from Garden City, or
I'm just looking at this. You've got Garden City. You had a 937 in round 1, which you're waiting to drop off, and Lismore wasn't too kind either. Which was in May. So it could be until that time. It's a long old grind to put in to get the bump.
And I think this is something that a lot of people don't understand, especially if I think lower ratings are easier to change, and if you have less rounds in your rating, it's easy to change your rating. So for me, I could go out and average 1050 at a tournament and go up 1 point, even though that's like 40 points above my rating. 43 points above my rating. Whereas other people shoot, a round or two above their rating and it shoots up by 10 points. So once you get, a bit higher, it is harder to actually get it moving.
Most definitely. There was some talk on. I don't know if either of you or anyone in the chat listens to a Tour Life with Brodie Smith and Paul Ulibarri.
And I know the conversation you're about to talk about, and they spoke about Paul Macbeth, didn't they?
They did, and they said that Paul Macbeth wouldn't play in a sanctioned small tournament. I think C tier. I mean, the idea was that he wouldn't play in a tournament where he was the highest rated player by some distance, because it would be very, very difficult for him to shoot a round which wouldn't harm his rating. Okay. And this is back to our zero-sum game that we talked about. I think we mentioned it on the show before, that the number of points that everybody brings to the party is the number of points that everybody in the party is going home with. And so if you bring a lot of points, you've really got to do a lot to take those points, right? Because it only takes 1 or 2 people to shoot incredibly well, and suddenly those points go elsewhere. Are you looking now at the calendar and going, I'm not going to play that event for those reasons, now that this is a focus for you?
Not really. I know what you're talking about, though, because 2 years ago, I won Twizel and lost like 4 rating points, averaged like 4 points below my rating or something, because of the highest rated player going in. So, it's harder to average above your rating. and that's especially true for courses that don't have the same scoring separation.
Yeah.
So, like, if you look at
short
like Garden
courses in
City,
particular. Yeah.
if you look at Garden City this year, the courses were the scoring was real compressed because there was a lot of like 140 par threes that the whole field just took threes on. And what that meant was that there was like 3,000 rated rounds shot at that tournament, even though there was 3,000 rated players in the field.
Yeah.
So I know what you're talking about, but for me at the moment, it won't affect what tournaments I'm playing because in the next year, I see myself playing a couple of Elite Series, the Tour Down Under ones, then from there maybe Tuckers, Twizel, and some of the Dunedin one days. And outside of that, I'm sorted for tournaments really.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Levi, how old are you now?
17.
Okay. So and I'm sure you've probably spoken to your mum and dad about this. What's the sort of goal or time frame? What's the goal for your time frame to try and get out to the States? And what are you thinking?
Well, the time frame I have in my head is next year. Just go to uni and grind, whenever I can, just on the field most days. And the tournaments that I play, hopefully, like I say, bump my rating up a bit. And then from there, into the future, it'll either be stick for another year or two, or try and make the jump after 1 year. But it is. I think this is. I can't like confirm this, but I think if I lived in the States, I would already be a touring pro by now.
Right.
Just simply because there would be far more opportunities, to play against the best players in the world. But also, it's easy enough just to drive a couple hours once a year, even to go play a pro tour.
Yeah.
And it's just so much easier to get sponsorship attention if you live in the same country as them.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Well, you are only 17 though, man. To just keep that education coming in, and whatever you do in the next couple of years, man, you'll still end up in the right place where we all want to see you.
Where are you going to go to?
Scannaborough was 17 when he won his first major, so
that is true. Yeah, it's there. Levi, where are you going to go to uni? You coming to Vic?
Nah, Otago.
Oh, Otago. Everyone goes to Otago, don't they? That's it seems to be the hot spot. Do you know?
Sorry, and what's your study plan there? Might as well ask.
Well, I've been talking to Andrew Popham. So my plan was to go to sport and exercise science. And I was talking to Andrew Popham over the weekend because he's staying with us in Twizel, and he thinks I should do physio. So I've been, tossing up my options, but at this stage it'll be sport and exercise science.
Yeah, sure. And I guess that's a good option, the physio, because I mean it's something, and same with the other option, but it's something you can take everywhere.
Yeah.
Cool. Sorry, Matt. I think I cut you off on a question.
No, that's fine. I just want to go back to the weekend. What was working for you in your bag? Have you kind of kept the same bag for all of these wins, or have you new things come in?
I'm just trying to think. I've added in one disc into my bag, and I did not throw it all weekend.
Okay.
So for me, like I say, I've been working lots on my forehand. So my forehand Cortaris actually. I was throwing lots of, I don't know why, but forehand spikes with them, and they were just they were really accurate
for the shorter distance holes.
Yeah. Short to mid distance. Have you played the river course, Morgan?
I have not. I haven't had a chance yet.
Well, there's at the river course and the other course. There's lots of opportunities just to go over the top because the trees aren't massive trees.
Yeah.
So what was working for me was genuinely just looking to the sky on a lot of holes, and apart from that, just sticking to the overstable discs that I knew.
Cool. Pulling the Simon line.
Yeah.
Nice. I like it. Hey, like if you can take out all of the, all of the variables in a hole, why wouldn't you? Do you know what I mean? Exactly. Like I looked at holes where, I could be throwing a slightly flippier disc, getting more distance, but there's way more danger. I'm like, no, I'll just throw something slightly more stable and make sure I get right to where I want to be. So take the variables out of it.
Yeah. Well, there's, like I say, for anyone who knows the river course, it'll be hole 6 is this hole that's got this real cool tunnel, but the tunnel starts about 50 or 60 meters off the tee, and it's this beautiful shot. The basket's framed up perfectly, but the trees aren't tall enough, so I just go over the top spike hyzer.
I like it. We've got Arne Burgess in the chat here just saying, is a disc golf scholarship to a college in the States a thing yet, like football and basketball?
I think it is, but it's not something that I really consider.
Can't be too mainstream, eh?
Yeah, and also I think last time I checked, if I played at the collegiate championships, I'd be the highest rated player, anyways.
Wow.
And I'm unsure, but I think I have an inkling that you may need to be AM, or a lot of them are AM, anyways.
Yeah. Okay. Good question, though, Arne.
So, what your plan for the rest of this year? You mentioned it just quickly now. Have you got any more tournaments you're playing in 2023?
Nah, I'm done for this year. My first one back is Roxborough.
Yeah.
Roxborough. Okay. So that's on the 13th, 14th of January. And then you've got, I can see your upcoming events actually. And then you're heading to the Southern Smash, Topor, and then you're playing the Tour Down Under events.
Yeah.
And you said you don't have a win target in mind, but is there anything in those Tour Down Under events that you'd like to achieve that perhaps you haven't achieved before?
Oh, well, it would be nice to win nationals, because the last 2 nationals, if you remove international players, I've been second to Jay and second equal to Jay. So it'd be nice to take out a national title. Actually, there was something else at Twizel. If you look at all my rounds this year at all the majors, my first round was the worst by far, and then the next rounds got better. And I said to myself and a lot of people on the Friday of Twizel, I broke the curse. I actually played good first round at a major. So hopefully we can do that at nationals as well.
And that's in spite of, as you described, feeling your heart's racing, you're pumped for it.
Yeah. It was actually a really good experience though, because I've not had a chance junior worlds, but other than that, my last time actually having a high pressure situation was nationals last year, when it came down the stretch with Jay. And since then, I haven't really had any tournaments that I've won where it's been real tight coming down the stretch, and I've had a moment where I've gone, okay, Levi, pressure's on, now's the time to show up.
Yeah.
And I think this weekend I finally did that.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I think it's obviously the tournaments that you've got coming up are all massive events, right? So you've got the 2 Elite Series early on. And then you've got the 4 Tour Down Under events. So they're all going to be huge events that will hopefully, I hope at least, give you some competition and if anything, give you more practice of playing in those pressure situations where you have to turn on that mindset and then deliver on it. Because as we've said before, practice is what you need, right? If you want to get better at something.
I think you're going to take down every single one of those Tour Down Under events, and you're going to take that $100,000 off Henry and Simon.
Well, I met with Henry, over the weekend to have a chat about the tour, and I won't give out any spoilers, but I've seen the list.
Okay, what the list of?
No, you got to drop a spoiler now.
Juliana Korver's playing.
Yeah,
not a spoiler.
Yeah, we've seen that Juliana's involved. Yeah.
A couple of days late.
Yeah. Excellent. Look, Levi, it's been fantastic to chat. It was a great performance at the weekend. You're going on a bit of a not a break, but it is 2 months until your next event, so that's sort of a break. And so I wish you the very best of luck practicing and getting better over the Christmas period, and then coming back to smash Morgan's Roxburgh course.
Sweet.
I look forward to seeing that too. Cheers, Levi. Have a good night, man. Thanks for coming on.
Sweet as.
Have a good one. Cheers, Levi.
Around.
Wow. Incredible player. Has done like silly things in terms of his play, and 2 10-40 rounds in a tournament for the second time. Incredible result.
Man, Matt, I remember, and I should remember because it was only a few years ago, but I remember him sort of, and it seemed to me at the time like he was down around my knee height. I know that's ironic to say. I remember when he's down around my knee height and reaching up to the discs in all of the shops, and Iran going, "Don't touch all my discs." And look where he's come. Look where he's gone in just a matter of 1 year.
Well, that's it. The first time we had him on the show was about, I was going to say, about 120 episodes ago. He was
Wow.
he was on the show. So that's over 2 years. When he was 15. And he was winning tournaments then. So look, it's going to be incredible to see what goes on in the first few months actually of next year, and then let's see how far he can go. He's really is sky's the limit, and I'd absolutely love to see him get snapped up by a household disc golf name manufacturer. And get him over the States.
Got RPM on his back, man. He's got those wings and he's flying.
That's it. We'll get him to the States, get him a van, and live a good life, touring around, playing disc golf all day. Sounds absolutely fantastic. Right now, we've got the next thing we're going to do is disc golf was in the news. Well, not sort of in the news. I'm not sure where the platform NZ sits in terms of news, popular media, social media. Can I be honest with you? I'd not heard of it prior to this coming out. I don't know if that says something about their target audience and me, or whether it just says something about me. But
I'd heard of it, but I've never listened to it before. But I tell you what, I think it's got a pretty good following, and just getting disc golf out there in front of a new audience is fantastic.
Well, look, earlier on this week, 2 days ago, I think. 2 days ago, Henry Pearson from Winnow was on the platform, joining Sean Plunkett, who was doing the interviewing. And if you want, we can have a little listen to it and see how we get on, and maybe we can comment on it as we go. How about that in a sort of reaction-based way? So let me see if I can get the thing. Chat, let me know if you can't hear the audio of the platform. I'm hoping that I've set it up right. But yeah, we'll see how we get on. This is just on their podcast website. So let's just see.
I've got a much more optimistic story I want to talk about.
Just before we go any further, chat, could you hear the audio of that? Can someone just give me a thumbs up that they heard the audio? And we'll maybe just hide Bray for the moment.
Yes, Anthony Gilbert, yes.
You did. Excellent.
Eddie Rance, yeah.
And we maybe just... oh, no, we need Morgan. There we go. Right, okay, let's go.
Right now, you may have heard yesterday, I asked Martin... because having instructed him prior to his departure...
He's got a very Kiwi accent, hasn't he?
Rugby World Cup in Paris. I'd come up with a story, and I'm not a sports guy, but
This reaction's all on you, Matt.
I felt
oh, is it? Okay.
Milieu.
Well, I'm behind, and if I
disc
have the
golf.
sound
I
on,
don't
it's
know
going
if
to come
you've
through
heard
the
of disc
speaker.
golf.
Oh, of course,
I am
yes,
only
yes, okay.
slightly acquainted
I'm gonna
with it.
take this
I've
time to
seen
get
it. I
another
think
glass of
people
water.
practicing or playing. I've seen some mentions of it on social media. But my understanding was I'd met a guy who was talking about having some competitive professional disc golf here in little old New Zealand in the Northern Hemisphere's off-season. And I asked Marty and Lockie to check it out. And I asked Marty yesterday, how are you going on that disc golf story? And I get this harumph from Mr. Devlin. It's not a sport. Well, I beg to differ. So if they weren't going to cover it in the sports show, I said, bugger it, we'll make it prime time. Disc golf, and I will branch out into sports reporting, we'll do disc golf. So we are joined now by young Kiwi entrepreneur Henry Pearson, who was the guy behind bringing professional disc golf to New Zealand. He's on the video link. Henry, good to see you, mate. How are you?
John, good morning. Thanks so much for having me. It's great to be on the show.
That's all right. Well, tell us, what is the deal? Firstly, let's just have a...
So, Morgan, have you joined us now?
I'm listening. I'm slightly behind though, so I'll let you comment.
Right. Okay, but you'll get the bit that we're on about. So yeah.
Crack at Devlin. Disc golf is a sport, right? And it's pretty popular around the world.
Indeed. Look, I'm glad you've got your priorities straight, Sean. You've got your head in the right space. Martin's maybe got a bit of a hangover from some of the great action he's been watching at the Cricket World Cup to neglect some smaller sports like us. But look, disc golf is alive and kicking, and is certainly one of the world's fastest growing sports at the moment. 4 million players play in the United States alone. It's massive in Europe, particularly Scandinavia, and we're hoping to repeat similar growth rates here in Australia and New Zealand.
Well, we've got a staff member, believe it or not, in Finland. And he said, Finland, disc golf is huge over there. He said, Marty's got this completely wrong. Disc golf is big in Finland.
I feel like the odds are stacked against Martin at this rate, with many passionate sort of disc golfers chirping in around the world about just how good our sport is. And I think the Finland national champs are televised. So, but look, yeah.
Well, they are, and the reason why they're televised is because they're in. I think it's an understatement of how big disc golf is in Finland in comparison to their population. Right?
It's insane.
All you need to do is have a look at UDisc, and I did some calculations here that if it was something like if Wellington had the number of courses that Helsinki has for its population, right? Then Wellington alone, right? So Upper Hutt, Porirua downwards, would have like 26 courses, which is just crazy. And we've got 3, or 4. Sorry, Wainui. We've got 4. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's orders of magnitude almost bigger in Finland and other Scandinavian countries.
It's huge. It's really big.
All right,
look, here in New Zealand.
For the uninitiated, Henry, tell us how. I mean, it looks to me, I'll be honest, it looks a bit like Frisbee, but it's like Frisbee crossed with golf.
Pretty much, yeah. So the aim of the game is exactly the same as traditional golf. We have courses of 9 or 18 holes, and we aim to get around those courses in the least number of strokes or throws. The only real difference is the equipment that we use. So rather than hitting a ball with a club into a hole, we're throwing a disc, which is a specially designed type of Frisbee, into a target that we call a basket. And we get to play on all sorts of beautiful terrain, from wooded sort of forest areas, which is where traditional disc golf kind of grew up, sort of started. And there's an opportunity to merge disc golf courses into ball golf courses, which are starting to pop up in and around the country. So you get a nice mix of terrain.
And I imagine, look, having someone who's unsuccessfully played golf over many years, slightly more accessible, and you don't have to buy all those clubs and hire a professional. I mean, any idiot can throw a Frisbee, right?
You're right. It's super cost effective to get into. All you need is one disc golf disc, a sun hat, and a water bottle, and you're away laughing. But by the time you really get stuck into it, you might end up with a bag full of 20 or 30 discs that all do something slightly different.
No.
I've got a couple of
No, like
This
you
is
play
what
your
they-
9-iron disc. Or your
Exactly.
putter disc.
Yeah.
Chat, is there anyone where that's happened to them, where they started off with just a few discs and now they've got too many, or a wall full of them? I don't know.
Matt, I'm not sure if you've seen it. I sent you a message saying that comments aren't coming up on
Well,
YouTube.
we have sort of three categories.
I just had a
We've
message
got our
about
putters,
that.
Our mid-ranges and our drivers, and that the biggest difference between those is sort of the speed at which they can fly through the air. So I've got two discs here with me. The orange one is what we call a putter. It's got a much blunter edge.
Yep.
And then the blue one here is a driver. It's got a thinner edge. It's going to
More aerodynamic.
Distance.
Well, for me, they've all
That's right.
popped up.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So these are slightly different to like a catch frisbee that you
Well,
might have
one has.
I played with at the beach in the summer. They've got more of the weight concentrated in the rim, which means that they can fly much faster through the air than a catch disc. And some of the top pros here in New Zealand can throw these drivers upwards.
Do we have professional disc golfers in?
Yeah, got a message saying they're working now.
Oh, okay, brilliant. They are working. Fantastic. Good. I'm going to just stop it here because this is up until this point. It's fine. Henry talks very eloquently, as he always does, and has done well. I think there's a few things that I didn't 100% agree with. Let's just see if we can hear them.
In New Zealand.
We do. We've got a tour that's run by the New Zealand Disc Golf
Absolutely do. We've been running
Association
pro
year-round.
events in New Zealand for some time.
Features about 20 events up and down the country. And in fact, over the weekend, we just had the South Island Championships in Twizel, which had 200
Bloody
professional
another
amateur
story that Devlin missed. You know,
Yeah.
bugger him.
We'll have to invite him up. Once he has a crack, he might get hooked.
Look, I am not going to let this go, I tell you. But look, more
Yeah.
importantly, you've got plans for a kind of off-season, getting some of the real big names in the sport down here to New Zealand?
That's right, Sean. We had a couple of special visitors here the summer just been from the United States to come and enjoy our country and play a couple of tournaments. And they went back and raved to their touring pro peers in the United States about it. And the word that we had was that if we could put on a concentrated schedule of really premier events here in New Zealand, that we would get demand from those pros to come and spend their off-season here. So on the back of that, we've launched what we call the Tour Down Under, which is a new initiative, a professional circuit for disc golf. And we're inviting the world's best players to New Zealand to compete over 4 premier events at some of New Zealand's most beautiful disc golf locations in January and February this summer. And they'll compete alongside our local rising stars, which we have some really special local players who I think are going to make an impression on the world stage in the coming years.
Okay.
Just to pause there. So far, we've seen news of Juliana Korver is coming to New Zealand. She'll be playing in the first 3 events of the Tour Down Under, and you've got Zoe Andike, who's also coming for all 4 events as well, and she's been confirmed. I've heard a couple of other names. I won't say who they are, but I don't think there's been any more confirmations, at least not that I've heard. We're waiting with bated breath. We're at 10 weeks away from the first Tour Down Under event. I think 10 weeks is about right.
That's not far away, is it?
It's not far away. So we shall see who is still making their plans, because as soon as they register on the PDGA site, they'll appear in the event page on the PDGA event, right? And I do have a look every now and again, and Juliana's name came up prior to the announcements. So I look forward to seeing if there's any in there, any eagle-eyed people might spot that.
Prize money. What's the prize money they're going to be playing for?
This is interesting.
Or does that?
Well, we've got 900. Yeah, we've got 900 competitors competing across those 4 events. And
okay, so this is the first bit that I'm going to kind of say, I'm not sure that's entirely accurate. Henry says we've got 900 competitors across the 4 events. And it's worth saying that that's almost a capacity, right? So the 900 is the total capacity if you add the 3 events together, more or less, right? Yeah. So that's not 900 unique, distinct players. That's 900 people playing in it, having a tournament on. If you know what I mean.
That's a pretty big shout considering NZDG had 1,146 players individual players play last year on the tour, and when I looked at it, there's quite a number of double ups in that list as well. So
yeah, and also currently, and I appreciate we're 10 weeks out, there's a lot of people who, I've spoken to people and they've just gone, do you know what? It's pretty pricey. It doesn't look like it's going to sell out immediately. So I'm going to spread the cost over a period of time and register for these events later on in the summer. So not all of the entrants have come in. So far, all 4 events combined, 305 people have signed up. So that needs to triple to get to the 900.
Wow. Is that individual people or just total players?
That's total entrants. So you add the total number of people registered for Topor, Nationals, Bottle Lake, and Paradise.
Yeah, sorry, I worded that incorrectly. I mean, was that 300 unique players?
So
but
it's just not 300 unique players. If I was guessing, I would say it's in the region of 100 to 120 unique players. I suspect. I may have sold that a little bit short, but I haven't added it up, honestly.
$100,000 in cash and prize.
$100,000 in cash and prizes. This is the other thing that as we get closer, I want the Tour Down Under to be a success, right? I want to see.
Absolutely.
I want to see these tournaments slammed, full up. I want to see the best players in the world coming and playing, because I think that's what it's going to take to get to some of the numbers that's being talked about, right? $100,000 is a lot of money to take out of to subsidize from the AM entries, right? If you don't have somebody stumping up a big load of cash, right? Which is what happens. What for people who maybe you haven't run too many tournaments, which is fine, lots of people haven't. The way you often bump up or increase the value of a pro purse is that you offset some of the money that you make from amateur entry fees by buying stuff that you get gifted from sponsors, and then so you offset the money, so you kind of buy it off yourself, if you know what I mean, right? So
well, they've already said on this show that no amateur dollars at all, not $1 will go towards pro. So
well, I don't know, that might have changed. What I would be interested,
I'm looking forward to seeing who the big sponsors are, because it's got to be major, and that excites me.
Yeah, but also if it's a major sponsor, I would have thought they'd want to get their name out early, right? And is it more exposure time, or is there a benefit to having it later on and closer to a sort of big bang event? I'm not a marketeer, so I'm probably very, very unknowledged on this. I can only go from what I would from my perspective, so which is probably all over the place.
You'd think you'd want to get it out early. I mean, I know as soon as I get a sponsor, I'm straight on my phone and creating some sort of social media to put it out for them, because they deserve it.
But what I'd be keen to know is, what's the break-even point, right? At what point we need to get to in order for these numbers to be realized? Do you know what I mean? Right. So, for example, Bottle Lake at the moment's got 32 competitors signed up. That'll increase. There's plenty of people who are 100%. Who are waiting to put their registration in.
They'll go well over 100 for that one, being in Christchurch. No doubt.
And there's a number of people who will be going, do you know what? I'm going to space my registrations out, because it's it's $170 or something around 140 if you're now bucks a pop. So it's quite a lot. So people will be spreading it out, right? But where's the break-even point? What's the number that they need to get to kind of go, do you know what? Now we're starting to get some traction and this makes sense. Because I feel for Juliana at the moment, who's going to come along and play in a division of maybe two other people, which is great for those two people, And I see that Nicola Stout's playing in FPO in at least one of the events, which I think absolutely fantastic, and probably is a reason why she gets to play with Juliana, which is great. And I'd be doing exactly the same if I was in that position, But I would like to know. We'll see if we can contact Henry for a comment on this, because I'd love to know, what are the break-even points? At what point do you need to get to before you can kind of go, oh, do you know what? We've got something here. Anyway, let's carry on.
Prizes. So it's a massive step in a really exciting direction.
Are we going to run through the whole video, Matt? Because I believe most of that information that we're sort of looking at going over is condensed into that part right there.
Okay, well, I will just say as a little star that it was mentioned $100,000 of cash and prizes, right? So that will be amateur prizes, that'll be players packs, as well as pro purse.
Yep.
So I just want to make that clear, right? I'm not saying it's 100 grand in pro purse cash, unless it is, and I'm happy to be corrected.
For disc golf, which has been a largely grassroots sport here in
900 competitors.
That's right. Yeah,
That's big. I mean, that's big, Henry.
See, now I think there's a danger here that the casual viewer would see that as 900 unique players playing in each event, which isn't quite right. But anyway.
Yeah, we're getting there. It's awesome, and we're so excited to welcome spectators, some of the world's biggest disc golf promoters, brands.
Just all in the wording, isn't it, Matt? Just like sort of how it's taken in by the viewers and listeners.
We've got Taupo is where we kick the tour off, and then we head to Auckland for the New Zealand National Championships. Then we've got a South Island League, which kicks off in Christchurch. That's the second weekend of February. And then our final event is at what I think is just the most beautiful spot in the country, Paradise, Glenorchy, which is about an hour's drive from Windsor.
We've spoken about how Paradise may not be the best course for a touring pro to come and visit, especially at the beginning of the season before.
Yeah, it's just stunning down there. So Lord of the Rings type
Paradise is one of the most incredible places you'll ever play disc golf. I will never say a bad word about there. It's amazing. But you will see from pros that have been before, they love the experience, but not so much the disc golf because they're so used to groomed courses where they're from.
Yeah.
Visiting players from the US have got a bit of a Lord of the Rings interest, so going there and playing the sport that they love will be pretty special.
Give us an idea or a feeling, Henry, of the culture of disc golf. Sports, and if you like, non-mainstream sports often have their quirks and everything. I mean, skateboarders, cool, surfies, a lot of the old dacking up, isn't there, with the surfies? That's what you think. What's the buzz on a disc golf circuit? What sort of people are drawn to it?
I just got what you heard.
Community of people, and there's a few sort of memes that trudge around online about the really interesting intersect that disc golf brings people together. There's a lot of people that just love nature and are into things like hiking and mountaineering, and then you've got sort of a hippier style of crew that are pretty happy just to go camping and then play a bit of disc golf on the side. And
it strikes me for freedom campers and the age freedom campers, it's a great sport to travel the world with, or have some discs in your camper.
Absolutely, yeah. A lot of the touring pros in the US live what they call van life, which is where they travel around the country following the tour circuit in their van with, their dog and their partner, and they just live out the back of the van, which is pretty cool. So, but look, here in New Zealand, it's probably a little bit easier just to fly a domestic flight between our events, and we've got had a bit of take up in the sport from young kind of athletes who maybe played all sorts of sports growing up, rugby, volleyball, football, and they've sort of transitioned over to disc golf, just finding that our community of people are super welcoming. So
this is actually a fair point, that last one, and there's something that I witnessed in Ultimate, right, which was Ultimate used to be filled with Frisbee players who were trying to be athletic, and over the years and now it's athletes who are playing Frisbee, and it's a different kind of person who's playing, and we're seeing that in disc golf now. A lot of the young players, they could try their hand at any sport and be very good at it. It's not now people playing disc golf because, I don't know, they're not good at other sports, which was the reason I got into Ultimate.
I used to play ball golf growing up and found that the competitive environment was a little bit cutthroat, but I've really found a special lot of people here at disc golf, and have kind of never looked back.
Yeah. Have you got sponsors, or are you looking for them?
Yeah, look, we've got some great opportunities to partner with brands, both here in New Zealand and overseas, to align your brand with this really exciting opportunity and one of the world's fastest growing sports. The best
I agree with that.
way to get in touch about brand collaboration and partnership opportunities is to head to our website, tourdownunder.co.nz.
Tourdownunder.co.nz.
You've got it. That's right. The content that we'll be generating in partnership with our media partners presents a really unique fleet of content, particularly with regards to sort of destination marketing style content. So brands that have an interest in engaging with markets in the United States, but also, I suppose, here as well, might find that the Tour Down Under presents a really exciting opportunity for your brand.
Yeah, well, it may not be rugby or cricket, but it sure sounds like sport to me, Henry, no matter what Mr. Devlin says.
Yeah.
Well, look, we will have to keep in touch. I'll just take up the mantles. I'm as good a sports reporter as Devlin, quite clearly. Very good luck with it, Henry. I thank you for your time today, and I will follow.
And yeah, so it just sort of ends there. Yeah, look, so interesting. Right, okay, so a couple of thoughts from me. Morgan, then I want to hear some thoughts from you. Chat, put your thoughts in. We want some other opinions. Leon, thank you for yours, but we want some other opinions as well. So my thoughts on this. Okay, first up, great that it's getting some exposure, right? The more people who don't know what disc golf is, who hear the words disc golf and go, what's that about, is great. I had the opportunity at a recent real life work induction of having that moment where I said, hey, I play some disc golf, and people went, what's disc golf? So I was able to introduce it to at least one other person. And it's great when that happens. Okay. What we need to be careful of, and it might just be my impatience, is that the Tour Down Under isn't too much build-ups, because at the moment, and again, might just be my impatience, I really want to see who these players are. And I appreciate that it's taking time to confirm things and get plans and flights and all that kind of thing and be confirmed. But we are 72 days out from Topol. Okay. If you're planning on making a big trip, and a trip from the US to New Zealand is what I would consider in the realm of big trip, you probably know prior to 72 days out, and that's not including days that it takes to travel or days that you want to have here before, you probably know if you're going to do it or not. And so I'd love to see some of these names. I'd also like to see some of the sponsors. How is this going to be kind of funded? There's a lot of big numbers being thrown about. And at the moment, when I look at what I can see, which is just the public-facing stuff, I'm not privy to any information. All I see is what's on Disc Golf Scene, what's on Instagram, etc. When I try to piece together, well, how does this look like? I can't see how some of the numbers at the end get to where they're going to get to where they've been advertised from the numbers that I can see in front of me, right? And let me be really, really clear on this, really clear. I want this to be a massive success. I want there to be 300 people at every event, and I want there to be Lizotte, Macbeth, Heimberg, Wysocki competing on the lead card for all of these 4 events, right?
Yeah, now, that's what the people want to see.
I don't think that's going to happen in the way I've just described it. But it would be, I think, yeah, I'd just like to, that's my thoughts on it anyway. Morgan.
My thoughts, Matt, bold claims, and I hope they do come to fruition because it will be brilliant for the sport. That's plain and simple. No matter what my stance is on anything, I also want to see it succeed. See all these players come out here, and I want to see leave cash to get him over to the States and buy himself a beautiful 1997 Toyota Estima and travel it country.
I used to have a 99 Estima, and so I can agree that it's
brilliant.
They are. They're fantastic. They're fantastic.
No, man, it's a lot. Do you know what I mean? If we haven't got the information on sponsors and things like that, that's where the questions come from when you come out with big, bold comments and statements like Henry has. But I really like that he got on the platform. As you sort of mentioned at the start, it's not a platform that we know, but I'm sure with a little bit of digging and having a look, I bet you it's got a huge following and I was about to say cult following, but I bet it's got a huge following. So brilliant to get it out there in front of a lot of viewers' eyes that have not seen disc golf, heard of it. It's just bringing a whole lot of new people into the sport, and just being able to even just ask the question and maybe jump on YouTube one time and see what it is, and then they'll be down their park. So I'm sure that interview is going to gain a bunch of new players at the very least.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, chat, what do you think? We're gonna see if there's we can get some comment. I spoke to Simon just casually at Rapper Rumble, and he was doing his networking thing to try and get as many people across the line. And he says he's still working on a number of people. A couple of names mentioned, which I won't say because it's not fair for me to. But we want to see confirmed names, right? All the posts I've seen from Tour Down Under, when I read the comments, it's great. Can't wait to see who else is coming. And I don't know if it was the reverse way around and I was planning a trip to the States and I was 72 days away from going, or the event that I was supposed to be going for to be going, I probably know I was going. But hey, we'll see. Anyway, right.
I knew 3 years ahead of time that I was going to Japan Open.
You're very prepared though, which is certainly far more than I am. Anyway, let's move on to the next section of the show. We're going to bring on our second guest for tonight. Second guest, I know, right? It's
a big show tonight, team, and we appreciate you all sticking around and just going through all of this with us. It's awesome.
We're going to welcome in this evening our guest, Bray Marsden. Good evening, Bray. How are you?
G'day, boys. How we going?
Very good, thanks. Very good. Now, listen, thank you so much for coming on the show. You messaged me in the week and said, "Hey, we've got an announcement to do. Do you mind if I gate crash and do an announcement?" And of course, I'm happy to oblige. It's very happy to do these kind of things. Just talk us through. Give us a little bit of without giving it away. Give us a bit of background as to what's this about? What's going on?
Right. So, I'm very much under the impression that good things take time, and like a fine wine, the NZ Elite Series is starting to pick up now with some traction, some awareness from overseas eyes. Just a quick rundown on where we're at so far is we have a grand prize for the overall MPO winner being shouted a all expenses paid trip to Samui, Thailand for the tournament over there for a week.
This was announced a few weeks ago.
Miller.
This is brilliant.
Yeah, so that is the MPO grand prize. In the MA1 for the NZ Elite Series, RPM have jumped on board and again via Generation Disc Golf for their events only, and are picking up the winner of the MA1 section of that part of the tour for a sponsorship.
The Generation Series.
The Generation Series, yes, thank you, Morgan.
That just to say, the MA1 field and tournament is incredibly competitive.
Yeah.
Incredibly competitive.
I just want to jump in there just so we don't skip by that. It's actually all the amateur divisions, Bray. It's not just MA1, so the person with the highest points at the end of the season. And if you want to know about how the points work, talk to Statman Adam Rhymes, and our website's about to go live as well, so you'll be able to see it all there.
Generation Disc Golf's data analytics team. Yeah, so with that being said, I have been approached / communicating with and working some very long nights due to a 12-hour time difference, talking to somebody in Norway. And the person that I've been talking to in Norway is called Truls Vik. and he is the manager for Team Innova outside of the United States. He's a newly appointed team manager. The current team manager is Joe Roten. He is now exclusively to the United States. That's who myself and the rest of Team Innova New Zealand have been dealing with for the past couple of years. So Truls is awesome. We a couple of us had a 90-minute video chat with him, got to find out a bit about him, about who he is and what he likes, and he likes what we're doing. So we initially talked to him about getting one prize for the NZ Elite Series, and Innova turned around and said, we like
They
what's
basically
going
loved
on.
what we were bringing to the table.
They like what's going on in New Zealand. They like what we're doing. They like what is happening with the players and the competition. They like what the team Innova New Zealand is already doing, just with their presence and some results on the course. So, with that being said, the NZ Elite Series now has 2 prizes, one for FPO and one for FA1.
Wow.
The overall winners of those divisions through the 5 events being offered a contract for Team Innova for the rest of 2024.
Wow.
And that will come with, that gets their foot in the door, that gets them thrown through the bloody door, full contract, wings on the back, discs, all the gear you think you would need. It comes with the bonuses, yada yada yada. I can't go too much further because it is a contract.
That's fantastic.
But that is what's happening, and we actually have a press release for it that hopefully you can work some magic and pull up on the screen for me.
Yeah, 1 minute. Let me just grab it. It's there.
Because
there it is.
Unfortunately, just due to some red tape, we couldn't have Truls on the show. He's actually away on holiday at the moment as well, but he was up till past midnight in Norway finalizing these contracts and this announcement for me. So I'm just going to read it verbatim as you guys can see it on the screen. It says, "Dear competitors of NZ Elite Series, I am pleased to formally announce a thrilling opportunity for the winners of the Female Professional Open and Advanced Women divisions in the upcoming NZ Elite Series."
Wow, that's great.
Innova Discs takes great pleasure in extending a sponsorship offer to the top performer in the FPO and FA1 divisions of the NZ Elite Series for the remainder of 2024. As a leading brand in the disc golf community, we are dedicated to supporting and fostering talent within the sport. This sponsorship will encompass a comprehensive package aiming to provide the winners with the necessary resources and equipment to enhance their performance and promote their ongoing success in the disc golf arena. We firmly believe that this collaboration will not only contribute to the success of the individual athletes, but also elevate the profile of the NZ Elite Series and the sport of disc golf in the region. We eagerly anticipate the opportunity to work closely with the winners and the NZ Elite Series to ensure a mutually beneficial partnership. Your success is our success, and we look forward to a thrilling and prosperous collaboration with the NZ Elite Series. Sincerely, Truls Vic. And
Bray,
I just
want to start off, Bray, by saying a personal thank you to you. Obviously, you guys all know there that I am the tour director for the NZ Elite Series, and we put in a hell of a lot of work behind the scenes. But for you to get this one across the line, man, I'm super proud of you and very, very thankful. This is huge for the NZ Elite Series.
Thanks, Bo.
Yeah, I mean, look, and what I love about this is that they didn't just go FPO, right? They could have just gone, tell you what, we'll go FPO, which would have excluded a lot of people who maybe weren't confident or haven't been playing long or are young, right? And so they don't feel like maybe FPO is the right step up. But FA1, tell you what, there's a lot of players in that FA1 division, and a lot of, I can actually think of a couple of youngsters who are going to be going, tell you what, FA1 might be my division in the Elite Series because I could do something here.
Yeah, and from where we stand, it was this was always like a goal, was to get something big like this across the line for the ladies, and then for Innova to jump on board and double down on that for us and with us is awesome. So it's gone from a group of half a dozen to a dozen to three dozen possible players. So we're really hoping that some of the ladies on tour will partake in our 5 events and really want to go for this prize, because I can tell you from where I stand, being a part of that team is huge. Like the community, and I don't want to say rewards, but you will never be without what you need to play disc golf, if you know what I mean, and your good play is rewarded. So it's an amazing opportunity. Like,
yeah,
it's huge. So that's the two contracts, and it will be from the end of the 5th event in the Elite Series, and it will go through to the end of 2024. And from there, if you keep your form and keep your momentum going, it very likely will extend from 2025.
Yeah,
it's not just
from
it's not
knowing
just
the end of a contract. Oh, so I was just saying, just from knowing the end of the contracts, like they will only start you on 1 year. This isn't unusual. We're only giving you this. This is always the starting platform, if not much higher, to be fair, because a lot of people start at your ambassadorship level, and just to go straight into like a full sponsorship, incredible.
Yeah. So we said, no, this is not an ambassador contract. This is a Team Innova New Zealand contract, what we're all on now.
Yep.
So, and that was 2 thumbs up. So this isn't
fantastic.
this is as good as you can get in New Zealand without being on the star team or the champion team.
Yeah, and just to plug it, next week, guys, on the show, we will be announcing, I will be live from Ohau for the tournament up at Wahitapu. I'll be live, and we'll be announcing the 5th event with the tournament director for that event. So stay tuned next week for that one. It's a doozy, and I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, chaps, real good announcement. Fantastic effort. Love that as a prize. It's great. A big supporter of ladies disc golf and getting more ladies playing. And if I think this is great for it. Key to it is that FA1. I think that's absolutely superb. So yeah, well done.
The FA1 and the MA1 is the key to disc golf in New Zealand at the moment. Yeah. I think that's where the talent's going to come from.
Yeah, absolutely right. Okay, look, Bray, thank you so much. We need to have you on again anyway for a chat, because we've not spoken to you for a while. So you can expect a call in the next couple of weeks. December's pretty quiet, so we'll see if we can hit you up before Christmas.
Beauty.
All right, catch you later, Bray.
Cheers, boys. Thank you very much.
I'll
Cheers,
talk
everybody.
to you in a little bit.
Yeah.
Cheer up. Excellent. Morgan, whoa, it just keeps coming, doesn't it?
It's pretty cool, eh? Just coming in thick from all angles.
Look, great prize, and if you're a lady in New Zealand, then you want to go and try and win one of those sponsorship deals. That's a fantastic opportunity.
We were trying to keep it under the radar, and Mr. Bray Marsden himself managed to let slip on his Facebook that it had something to do with Innova, and instantly I'm getting messages from some ladies. So I'm excited that I was getting those messages, as much as I was slightly annoyed with him. Still love you, Bray. I was getting messages from some ladies asking, what is it? What's this about? What do I need to do? And I had to fend them off. I haven't had to fend the ladies off ever. So.
Excellent. Anyway,
nice.
we have a tournament coming up this weekend. It's the next one in the season, and it's the Bros for Chains Charity Classic. So we're going to have a quick look at this now. But before we do, it's I don't know if you're aware of this, Morgan. I'm just going to look this up because I'm not. It's not very long now at all. Do you know there is 39 days until Christmas.
Well, you know, I knew it was close when we brought up the big C word earlier.
Right. 39 days until Christmas. And you know what that means? What's Christmas all about? Christmas is all about giving. It's all about giving. And this year, we're helping to support that we're running Secret Santa. So it's ever so easy. Okay, this is the way it works. Not that blank screen, this screen here. On the next week, okay, so after next week's episode, okay, on the 26th of November, which is it's the Sunday, I think, after next Thursday. Yeah, it's a Sunday after next Thursday. That's the deadline for signing up, okay, if you want to get involved. So make sure that you're, let me grab the link to it. If you haven't already signed up for this. So you'll get a name you'll get a name, through either Facebook or email from Morgan or myself. And what it will be is you'll get a name and an address, and what you do is you send that person a Secret Santa gift. Most people know what Secret Santa is about. Everybody picks out a name. You send someone a present, and they get something nice that they get to open at Christmas time. Your names will get sent. 18th of December is the deadline for sending your packages. If you're involved already, you might want to start thinking about what your package is going to be. I've started getting mine together ready now. I'm just waiting for my name so I can personalize it a bit. And the 18th of December is the deadline. The minimum you can send is a premium plastic disc. I don't know if I've got plenty around, but like a premium plastic. This is star. Don't send this because this is like a 6 out of 10. But like a star or a champion or a gold, octo, atomic, cosmic, ESP. You know the one. It's premium plastic. So not your putter blends. Premium plastic disc is all anybody ever needs to send, and all anybody should expect. Okay. So and then what you do is a little bit close to the time, before the 18th of December, you send it off. You don't put your name on it. Don't say who it's from. It's a complete secret. And then that person will receive their gift through the post before Christmas, and they can either open it there and then if they're a bit impatient, or they can wait until Christmas and put it under the tree and whatever else. There's a Facebook group. Join the Facebook group because it's good. It's good fun there'll be lots of pictures of people's packages and little clues being sent out as to who might be receiving them. So get involved if you want to get involved. We've got nearly 50 people signed up, which is brilliant. Honestly, and I think
that is brilliant.
There'll be a lot of FOMO going around in December and in January when people start seeing some of the gifts that are given. So
we'll definitely be posting on the page, won't we, Matt? What we got?
Absolutely. If you don't want to have FOMO, come then put your name on the list. We've got 47 people signed up so far. And we've collected everybody's names and addresses and their favourite players as well. You need to tell us who your favourite player is. So there's lots of... who's this? 6 people have said Simon Lizotte. He's the most popular choice out of everybody so far. Christian Tatar in third. So anyway, so if you want to be involved in Secret Santa, there are your dates. Get involved. It's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, upcoming events. Bros for Change Charity Classic this weekend in Christchurch, 17th to the 19th. It's sold out. There is 3 people on the wait list, I think. So you might be lucky, but if you're not already in, you're probably not going to get a spot. Next week, Wahitapu. Morgan's going to be live from Wahitapu. Fault Line is on next weekend as well. I should be playing in that, practicing on the Friday and then playing all day on the Saturday and Sunday. Best thing about this tournament, Morgan, at Fault Line, the best division is the largest division. MA40 is huge for Fault Line, which tells you about the aging population in Wellington. Anyway, Temuka Tussle is the first weekend of December, and then we move into New Year and Christmas. Egg Monster, North Island Champs. Really looking forward to this. Inglewood's a fantastic course. If you've not paid it, it's one of the prettiest disc golf courses you'll see, and you'll be able to visit. And they've got immaculate facilities there. So get yourself over to Inglewood if you can. And you're free on that weekend. It's going to be a good lot of fun, and it's the second major of the season, so you can earn yourself some juicy tour points and maybe a bit of cash if you fancy going for a professional division. Anyway, Roxburgh Open is the weekend after. 13th, 14th, we saw one of the whole previews earlier on. Plenty more of those coming out from Morgan. So keep your eyes peeled.
4 more.
4 more coming out from Morgan.
Just 4.
Plenty. 4 is plenty. That then you got the Southern Smash weekend after that. And another fantastic tournament, hosted Nationals last year, and they did a great job. Second event on the Elite Series. Third event on the Elite Series. Third event on the Elite Series, which we've just heard has got some pretty special prizes up for grabs. Then there's the Seafarer in Dunedin. Then there's the first of the Tour Down Under events, the Topol Classic, followed by Midsummer's Dream in Christchurch same day, New Zealand Nationals, Bottle Lake, Paradise, and then the Queenstown Classic, which I think is entering like its 26th year or something. It's incredible. So well done to them, and that registration opens for that at the end of January. Then there's the Garden City Open. I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to try and make it down, although it might be difficult. I'm going to do my best to come along to Garden City. It's going to be a lot of fun, that one. And then the Montana Flat is on the 13th and 14th of April.
Well, if you need help with accommodation in Christchurch, man, send me a message after this. We can talk. I can hook you up.
Okay. That's very, very kind, and I will do. Right, now let's look ahead to the Bros for Change Charity Classic. Before we have a look at the odds, let's just have a quick squint at the lineup for the event this weekend, starting off as we would in MPO. Jackson Sullivan goes into this event as 993, the highest rated player. Jay Watkinson, it's in second, is the second highest rated player. Andrew Popham, who is fresh off his win in Waimate? No, Hanma.
Yeah, Hanma Hot Rounds.
Hanma Hot Rounds. He will be competing, and he'll be up against Jasper van der Meer, who came in a hot second place in twice.
3 1,000 rated rounds.
That's right. Ashton Clark, who recently competed in the Rapper Rumble, came 4th at Rapper, and then I think he came 5th or 6th at Twizel. Then Sebastian Faulkner came tied 5th at Twizel, and then Callie Thompson, who I think that's his local course, actually, the Brooker course. Let me just quickly show you this. This is a course map sent to me by Jay Puki. So if you know this course at all, this is where you would normally start, right? So down in this bottom right corner, this is, I think, looking at where I can remember the trees of Brooker Ave.
That's right. Yeah, right there where you've got them out.
That's where the old T1 used to be. And this was the basket of hole 9, the T of which used to be up here from memory, right? So that's no longer a hole anymore. They've changed things around. So you can see roughly how this is going to go. You're going to be teeing off from more or less the tee pad of 2, but tucked in a little bit, to probably the basket of old basket 3. By the looks of it, I'm probably not right, but it looks something like that. Par 5 to kick us off, 265 over trees, par 5 in the wind, because it's always windy there. It's going to be that'll be a good bit of fun.
This is pretty cool from Bros for Change, man. Just getting their whole crew out there and building this course again, back from scratch, and just I mean, past 70 is huge, and I love it.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. So look, if you're going down to Bros for Change, it always sells out this one in like record time. So look, if you're going to go down, have a fantastic weekend. Let's just go quickly back to the lineups. In FPO, Eilish, Megan, and Alex will all go head-to-head once again. In FPO and in MP40, Jay Puki is the highest-rated player, although I'm sure Les Payne and Jason Ormandy, who finished second at Twizel in MP40, will have...
Do you see who else is lurking? Do you see who else is lurking in that list there? Mr. Cam Hubbard.
Cam Hubbard. Not like... Let's not be. He's at Jelly Park like all the time, and is an incredible coach for one, and also player. So I wouldn't be surprised if he upset the apple cart somewhere.
I'm just going to call Cam for the win.
Oh, you reckon?
By 3 strokes.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. That's a bold move. We shall see how he goes.
I'm always going to back my guy Cam for the win. You could put Levi in front of him. Nothing. Easy work. Light work.
Over to MA1, and Luke Hempel has the lead in ratings at the least. I think he may have got a bump from his last in the last month. Indeed, he did, up 10 points from last month. Stephanie Strum competes alone in FA1. In MA40, Hayden Shaw is looking a pretty good candidate for the MA40 crown in this one. He recently won Topor. And so, yeah, that's looking like it's a good result for him. Tina Himmel and Sarah Keane go head-to-head in FA40, as do Andrew Faulkner and Gregor Brosnahan in MA50. And in MA2, Stephen Kelly, who was one of our favourites for Twizel, goes into this tournament as the highest-rated player in MA2. Sam Lykin and Jai and Magnus, that's going to be a cracking division, isn't it? These three players are... Any one of them is capable of putting together some real good rounds. Looking forward to seeing.
I'm gonna back Sam on this one, but I tell you what, it could definitely go any direction with those guys. I mean, I know Jai plays a lot out at Brooker as well, so
yeah, and part of the crew who kind of puts this stuff together, right? So he would have played it a lot. We haven't seen him in a tournament for some time from memory. But I might be wrong on that one. Magnus Davidson is capable of playing well, and from memory played very well at this tournament last year. Might be wrong there, but
no, I think you're right. I think him and Jai were the two right there at the top.
Yeah. So look, going to be a very, very competitive tournament going into the weekend. In terms of odds, Jackson Sullivan is 3.7 to win, with Jay Watkinson out at 5s and Jasper at 5.6. Sebastian Faulkner, Andrew Popper, and Ashton Clark out at 9s. And finally, updates the power rankings. Loads of updates here. Right. So the big one here in FPO, Nicola Stout up 4 places to 3rd in the country. So she's only behind Hayley.
Go, Mama Stout.
And Michelle Simpson. Echo Lee climbs 3 places thanks to her 2nd place finish. And Alison Tweedy's 4th place overall. In the ladies divisions, earns her.
And Victoria stays right where she is with that big win as well.
She does. Jay Watkinson drops back 1 spot to 4th. Jasper climbs 7 spaces up to 5th thanks to his 2nd place. Ryan Cambridge and Sebastian Faulkner climb 2 and 3 spaces respectively thanks to their, I think, 5th and 6th place finishes. Elsewhere, Ashton Clark gets a slight bump, I think, for his 6th place finish as well. There we go, Morgan.
Big old show,
it's been a big old show. We've covered a hell of a lot tonight. Chat and everybody watching, thank you so much for staying with us for as long as you have.
Much appreciated.
Hopefully you've enjoyed the show. If you have, we'd be eternally grateful if you hit the subscribe button and maybe the like button. And look, for anybody playing at Bros for Change Charity Classic this weekend, we wish you the very best of luck. But wherever you're playing disc golf, take it easy, play well, get some birdies, and we'll see you next week.